doing extremely well. Hey, wanted to talk. I got talking with one of my athletes, actually a couple of my athletes the other day, and it came up to, I've talked about it, referenced it many times, and I think sometimes people are perplexed or just don't believe or just can't fathom that at one point I worked four jobs. And I'm not talking about four jobs over my career, I'm talking about four jobs at one time, for about a 2 year period, where I worked as a pest control guy. I worked in the shoe department of a department store. I worked as a bouncer Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights. And then I also did what I'm doing now, training athletes. You got to be able to pay the bills. And, I moved out of my house when I was 22, 23 years old. I went home for about a couple months, 4, 5, 6 months, and then eventually bought my own place and moved out. So I needed whatever I could do to, pay the bills, and the one thing I had to sacrifice big time besides, socialization with people and stuff like that was, sleep. Now, I don't recommend people doing it, but it brings me up to my topic that I always speak about is time. I would go from one job to the next, to the next, to the next, just having enough break in between to grab something to eat or, resting for 15, 20, 30 minutes, and then boom, hitting the next job. And like I said, I did that for 2 years. But I slept on average about 2 to 3.5 hours maybe each night. And people say, oh, you should be dead, you should be this. Well, I'm still here, so I have no idea why. I'm still here, but I'm still here. All right, many years later. But it got me to thinking about how many people with this time thing, how many people say they don't have time. Now, I'm not saying you sacrifice so much sleep so you can get your workout in or whatever, but it does go to show that you can be productive, okay? As long as you maximize the amount of time that you have, that you actually plan it out, you schedule it out. Problem is we don't schedule a lot of things out. We just fly by. Well, I know I have practice at this time, and if I get this, and nothing's ever planned out. Like I had to plan everything out. Each day had to be planned out because if something got thrown off, it'd throw the whole schedule off. I'd be late for this job, and I don't like being late for anything. Hate it more than anything. I hate when people are late. It really irritates me. It just shows a sign of disrespect, and that's what I was always about. You got to respect the people that have given me the job or the people that are working with me or whatever it is. So lateness is a sign of disrespect. And so all those things come into play. So when people tell me they don't have time, it's not that you don't have time, it's that you don't prioritize your time. You have too many leaks in your schedule. I talk about a lot with my athletes, energy leaks, when they're performing an exercise, performing a sprint. Why aren't you faster? You could be, well, you have an energy leak. Well, most people in this world have, work leaks. They don't know how to, I should say schedule leaks. They don't know how to schedule their time properly, so there's leakages everywhere. All right, so they waste so much time. And then they cry that they don't have enough time to get something done. We all have the same amount of time in the day. I don't have more than you. You don't have more than me. You don't have less. We all have the same amount. It's just how you prioritize that. And during those 2 years, like I said, I had to prioritize my time dramatically. Like I said, I would run home many times to change to get to the next job. Many times I just have it in my car. You throw it in there. As soon as I get home, the night's work, before I lay down for the 2, 3 hours, grab my clothes, throw them in the car, boom, go up to bed, and knock myself out. I was extremely tired. Like I said, it wasn't probably the smartest thing as we know more about how important sleep was. But it's what I had to do to get by. It wasn't what I wanted to do, but I had to do it. I had to take care of it. I was living on my own. No more, they had to cut off the supply for mom and dad, and I had to do it. So the whole gist of this when I tell the athletes this is you got to plan yourself out. You got to have some type of schedule. Is there time to be, lackadaisical, or I shouldn't say lackadaisical, but freewheeling? Yes. But the majority of the time you can, especially if you want to accomplish something in life. When I got married to my wife, she'll say to this day, I had $0. $0. Because all my money went to, purchasing a new house, the place that I'm at now, the farm that I live on, and things like that. But that was all money that I saved. All money that I saved, that I worked for. It wasn't handed to me. My parents didn't give me the money to buy the house. I paid for it out of my own pocket. I was 25 years old or whatever, at the time. Maybe 26. I paid for it. Those are the things. So Athletes, I'm telling you, and parents, the time thing is a fallacy. There is so much time in the day. That's all we have. I agree with you. But you have to plan it. You have to have a schedule. Athletes, we waste so much time. I guarantee you go back and look, you can find how much time you really waste. All right? So when we do that, let's start looking at those things. I'm going to talk about why also I, worked those 4 jobs. There were other reasons too, and I'm going to get into that. What drove me to that point. Like I said, I don't always recommend it. I think the economy's booming at this point, so there's a lot of, good paying jobs out there. So you can probably find stuff to help, supplement it. Just at the time, the economy was okay. And, I found these odd jobs that I could work where I really wanted to work in this field. But I knew to get to this point, I had to dedicate a lot of time to this, but I also had to have money coming in. So, guys, Coach Brick, stay strong, stay blessed. Remember, greatness never rests.